adds new dimensions to health insurance as you know it. The services are flexible and mobile. Now, let's talk about the plans. The Leadway Group Health Plan targets macro enterprises, corporates such as local and multinational companies, agencies, and other bodies. Take, for example, Rockwell Company, whose HR representative, Musa, wastes a big part of his work hours sorting billing issues. The Leadway Group Health Plan stops that and will ensure Musa, and by extension, Rockwell Company, will no longer have to worry about mix-ups and long conflict resolutions. Most of our health insurance plans come with baby wellness programs and multi-trip travel insurance with COVID-19 cover. In addition, we offer free employee assistance programs to keep employees out of the hospital. This includes added benefits that cover psychological consultations for insomnia, depression, and other conditions relating to mental wellness. This gesture also extends to free psychological evaluations during recruitment. Our onboarding process is seamless and stress-free for you to opt in, so you can keep track of your health and insurance status.
For more information and questions, call 01-280-1051 or visit our website at www.leadway.com. You can also send us an email at healthcare@leadway.com.
Invest in the peace of mind you deserve today, only with Leadway Health.
If someone could make a reality show about your office, what do you think it would be called? Hold that thought till you meet my colleagues. Hey, Babs.
How far, my guy?
Anything for the boys? Gone to the clinic yet?
Nah, I spoke to a doctor via the app.
Hey, Mama. Welcome back, Susan. How was your leave?
Wonderful.
She needed therapy to take care of her mental health. Our HMO really helped with that. Glad she's back to her body cells. Wow, that was fast. Thanks. So, what do you think about that reality show?
Nothing beats good health. Do you agree? For access to quality all-round care, home and abroad for yourself, your family, and even your staff, make the smarter choice. Choose Leadway Health, the HMO that offers you more than just healthcare. For more information, visit www.leadwayhealth.com. Leadway Health, for health, wealth, and more.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Omoyemi Oluleye, Head Total Rewards and HRS for Leadway Group. I'm super excited to be your host this evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to this special episode. It's a special one because it's a collaboration between Leadway Assurance and Leadway Health. Thank you very much for joining. I'm happy to have you here. And it's going to be a special time this evening on this month's episode of Let's Talk Insurance. I welcome everyone for joining. Thank you for joining our live event. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Okay, so we have Omonemi Alunge. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being part of this event today. Treasure Baby, thank you for being part of this event. I'm excited to be here with you this evening. Oluwasegun Odunaiki, thank you. Sugar Plum underscore Kate, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Rahibi, thank you for being part of this event. We're happy to have you this evening. Thank you so very much. We appreciate you. All the love from Leadway Group. So we'll start right away. We have two guests this evening that will be part of our show. The topic is let's talk to the experts. So I'd like to welcome Dr. Ayodeji Rena to the program. He's a consultant pediatrician. Thank you, doctor, for being part of this event. Can you just please introduce yourself?
Thank you very much for having me on, Ms. Luleye. Thank you, Leadway Health and Leadway Insurance for Leadway Assurance for having me on. My name is Dr. Ayodele Rena. I'm a consultant pediatrician, which just means that all the gray in my beard is because I've been reading about caring for children for the past 12 years, and actively caring for children. I have a blog on Instagram, which is called The Noisy Niger Pediatrician. On my blog, I teach parents and caregivers about simple healthcare tips on how to help their children be healthier and grow happier.
Okay, thank you very much, Doc. So, right on. Can we just play a game? Can you just drop me an emoji if you think that kids are adorable? Just drop an emoji. Let's see your thoughts. Kids are adorable. Thank you. All right. Okay. I think kids are adorable. Or just let me know what a child has said that left you speechless at any time. Some of your encounter with children and what have they said that left you speechless? Okay. So I'm sending some love notes. Thank you. Thank you. Oladuni Kupeja. Oluwafisayo Abbas. Okay. Okay. Children are adorable. Children are adorable. Thank you. All right. Have they done something that left you speechless? Something that you just couldn't imagine out of the blues? Aha, Sugar Plum. Okay. Mabel. Okay. What have they done? Okay, we're glad to be here. They've done something that made you speechless. They've done something that you couldn't believe. Okay. JB, thank you. Thank you. All right. All right. So do you agree with Lade? Sometimes he sang a song that said adulthood na scam. So do you think adulthood is scam? And at any time, have you ever wished to be a child again? Have you ever wished to be a child even just for a day? Perhaps, yeah. Larry, okay. A child literally asked if he needed his head because it is heavy on his neck. Oh, mine. So children are so very expressive, and they just, as the ideas come to them, they just throw it out there. Good. Thank you. All right. Okay. Thank you. So I'd like to also welcome our second guest speaker, Obi. You're welcome to the show, Obi. Thank you for joining us. Can you please introduce yourself? Obi is a childcare and development enthusiast. You have the floor, Obi.
Hi.
Hello. Kindly introduce yourself, Obi. So, Doc, kids can be surprising. Can you share some funny experiences you've had with any of them at your clinic? Dr. Rena.
Yes, kids are hilarious and they're surprisingly funny. So a few days ago, I was talking to a child who was about 8 years old, and I asked him if he snored because he was complaining about some catarrh and cough. And he said no, he doesn't snore, that it's a bad habit. And I said, it isn't really a habit because people don't really know when they are snoring. And he was like, well, he just thinks that it's not good to snore. And I told him that, well, I mean, there is not, but it's not a bad habit anyway. So I now said, do you know anyone that snores? And he turned around and looked at his grandmother who brought him to the hospital, and he pointed at her and said, she snores. And of course,
Oh,
grandma was very embarrassed. And she just said, look at you, Radio Nigeria, CNN, who asked you? So that was actually quite funny. I
wow,
said,
wow. Children, they're like that. They're very expressive and I mean, what they don't restrict themselves. The thoughts
they
come to them
don't.
and the truth out there. And that can make them
Yes,
to be very creative and innovative,
indeed.
actually.
I mean, yes, I've seen children that just pointed at a pregnant woman and said, your tummy is big, so they're no
Oh,
filter.
well, isn't the topic big? It is big.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so doctor, so this month's edition is especially for children, and it will
Hmm.
be a good opportunity for parents to be to learn about children, because it's a special edition for Children's Day, and we have a lot of Leadway has a lot of gifts to give out at the end of this show. So I would just want to implore everyone to stay tuned, wait until it's time for the gifts, and we throw out the quizzes and you can go ahead and answer the questions. So there's a lot of gifts that we're giving away at this time to celebrate the children, and we'll be coming to your homes. And of course, just to say that those gifts will be available, and the quiz will be available for children in Abuja and Lagos. All right, thank you. So, doctor, recently there have been some campaign on children and what they should be eating, and parents
Hmm.
have been like, "Oh, come on, isn't this what we had while growing up, and we turned out just fine? So why the fuss?"
Very interesting. Yes, I do realize that there has been a lot of sorry, awareness and I'd say uproar about a few food items that have been staples in Nigerian homes for decades. Amongst which are chocolatey beverages. Um, we drank these things growing up. And I like that. I find it interesting that you said we didn't turn out badly, but did we really not turn out badly? It's very possible that some of us who you have cravings for sweet things, who are heavier than we should be, who have certain chronic diseases, it might be attributable to our diet and the things that we might have been fed as children. That being said, I think to be specific, I'd like to comment on added sugars in the foods of children and in the things that our children consume. Now, added sugars bring excess calories. It gives them the risk of tooth decay, and it can predispose them to obesity in childhood and also later in life. And so what we say is that as much as possible, give them food items that have added sugar sparingly. Let those just be things like treats. More often than not, let them have water, freshly squeezed juice, freshly made smoothies. Because if they end up having these chronic diseases, then it really isn't the best for them in the long term.
Okay, thank you, doctor. And that's just a simple truth, though. A lot of adults currently in Nigeria, there's some hypertension, diabetes, and the best thing, and these are things that we took while growing up. So the best thing we should do is to prevent such and give them more natural stuff, sweet things from nature rather than chemicals and carbonated drinks. So thank you. All right. So I believe that we will be able to make amendments. Albie, you're welcome to the show. Thank you for joining. Yep, welcome. So you may please just introduce yourself so that we roll. We can't hear you. Please kindly project. All right. Hobby, please work on your audio and we'll be able to speak to you. We look forward to that a bit more. So, Dr. Ayodele, now to our viewers, let's get to your question. We've received a lot of your questions ahead, and it would be great to just jump right in because of time. The first question is from my namesake, Omoyemi Olashese, who's from yes, and she said, "What are best practices for preventing common illnesses, especially infections in children?" Doc, please.
Okay, so Omoyemi Omobadan Kini, so as they greet themselves.
So,
So when it comes to best practices for preventing infections, the good news is that infections in children are usually common viral infections that will run their course without any event. But you want to prevent them because once a child is sick, the whole family is sick. You can't go to school, you can't go to work, and everyone really is at a standstill. And so to prevent these common infections like diarrhea and the common cold, cough, and catarrh, it's important that parents observe the following. One, good hand hygiene. It's important to wash your hands of your children and wash your own hands and teach them to do so regularly, especially after going to the toilet and coming back from outside. Good cough etiquette, coughing into their elbows rather than into their palms. And if they cough into their palms, they must wash their hands or sanitize their hands. And this must be taught to them from an early age so that by the time they are around 4 or 5, it becomes part of them. Then, so of course, it's very important that good nutrition is established. So fruits, vegetables, greens, oranges, because these help to boost the immune system such that when they encounter these organisms, their episodes of infections are shorter and not as severe. Immunization, of course, is very important because immunization gives the immune system the ability to fight off these organisms when they come around. And last but not least is good sleep. Please make sure that your children are getting enough sleep. I find out that a lot of children in a lot of our big cities are not getting enough sleep because they are in bed by 10 and they are up again by 5 so that they can meet school runs, So please make sure that they're getting the adequate recommended amount of sleep so that their immune system can recover and they can be more resilient against infections.
Thank you. So I hear hygiene, and then don't let the metropolitan city get into the schedules of the children. Let them go to bed early. Use of technology can help to moderate their use of technology, playing games, not in the evening. So some of the discipline at home should be enforced around technology, around TV, so they can go to bed. But then a lot of hygiene in there and healthy foods. Thank you, doctor. I have Ene Idoko from Abuja, and he's asking, what are some common triggers for tantrums at different age groups, and how can I help my child learn to communicate their needs before they escalate? Doctor.
I would have liked Obi to take this or at least add, chime in on this, but I'll actually just throw in a few details here. So, but Ene has to send me some suya from Abuja first before I answer the question. When it comes to tantrums in children, throwing tantrums is a natural developmental phase, and tantrums in children, they're not unusual. They happen. What needs to happen is that you need to regulate your own emotions, because when a child has big emotions and a parent responds by even bigger emotions like shouting, yelling, wanting to, beat the child, that is the response that creates conflict between the child and the parent. And so what you want to do when a child is having tantrums is that you want to remain calm because you are the adult. And then you tell them very calmly that this is not what you should be doing. And even for the parents, that requires a lot of learning, because initially it's really hard for a parent not to react, by wanting to smack or wanting to beat. So don't beat yourself up as a parent if initially, you react, a little bit violently, for lack of a better expression. So I'd say you learn how to modulate your own emotions, and when the meltdown has ended, because the meltdown will not last forever, sit them down and have a discussion about what exactly happened around that issue. help them to process the emotion that they are feeling. Were they angry? Were they frustrated? And that way, they genuinely learn how to self-regulate and how to modulate themselves and how to understand what they are feeling and how to regulate it. It won't happen overnight, but of course, the more you teach them how to do this, the more self-aware they become and the fewer tantrums become as they get older. One generally expects that from around 5 years, the tantrums should begin to reduce in frequency and intensity.
All right, thank you, doctor. So please let's work with our children to regulate their emotions. Hobby is back on the show. You're welcome. So can you please shed more light on that? Hello, you're welcome. Hobby, you need to work on your audio. You need to help with that audio. We can't hear you. I can't. No, we can't hear you. Can you use your AirPods? We don't want the use of AirPods. We don't want the use of AirPods. Try take out your AirPods and try use your notebook's speaker. No, we still can't hear her. The next question is for Doctor. This is from Alonge Temitope. He says, is it safe for babies to snore?
So this question of snoring has come up again. Now, is it safe? The simple answer to the question is yes, it's safe for babies to snore. However, is it normal for babies to snore? No, it is not normal for babies to snore. And here's why. Snoring actually indicates that there is a blockage of the passage of air somewhere between the nose and the throat. Okay. Now, this blockage can occur as a result of a lot of things, including the common cold or enlargement of a particular set of tissues at the back of the throat or the back of the nose that we call adenoids. Now, in either case, the things that make us realize that snoring is a little bit out of hand is when a child is snoring so much that it is disturbing their sleep, or it appears as though they are snoring with such intensity that they appear to stop breathing at some point during the night, or getting such poor quality of sleep at night that during the day they are sleepy and they're supposed to be at school paying attention, but they are excessively sleepy. Also, if the child is mouth breathing, breathing through their mouth during the day, that also suggests that whatever is causing the snoring by obstructing the air passages is actually significant. So these are the things that we look out for. So what I'd say is that, number one, since your child is snoring, it is not harmful, it is not likely, it is not dangerous. However, you still need to see a doctor to find out why this snoring is taking place. We will ask questions like, for how long it has been going on? Is it there every night or does it come and go? What have you tried? Have you seen anyone about it? And, if there's a family history of something similar, and several other questions and probably some tests that can help us to identify why he's snoring. If it is something that we can treat, then we offer some sort of treatment. However, with adenoids, if adenoids are significant and they are causing a lot of, the ear, nose, and throat surgeon may recommend for them to be removed, but that is at the discretion of the ENT surgeon.
Okay, thank you. So here is it. It's not normal. So if your child snore, kindly ensure to see a pediatrician.
Exactly.
Very, very important. The next question is from Lara Ogunu from Lagos, and the question goes thus: my child suffers from ADHD. How can I manage it?
Hello, Lara. It's very challenging to manage a child with ADHD because for those who might not know what ADHD is, it is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. And as the name implies, there is a lack of attention to see through to tasks, and there's also hyperactivity and what we call impulsivity. And so, in situations where you find a child should be calm and a little bit reserved or withdrawn, for instance, in church, on familiar environment, you find out that they're still bouncing off the walls. They appear not to listen, and they seem not to be able to concentrate. And this might reflect in their academic performance, it might reflect in asking them to do simple tasks, and they seem not to be able to complete those simple tasks. Now, management of ADHD is multidisciplinary, in which it might involve the input of a pediatrician, a nutritionist, a behavioral therapist, a clinical psychologist for the child and the family members to help the child navigate and interact with the environment. The educational system, whereby even the teachers and the school system are involved in the management of the child, because for the child, that is probably where the most significant impairment in functioning is going to be in terms of learning and acquisition of knowledge. That being said, please see your pediatrician, because the pediatrician always coordinates all these things. Sometimes a pediatrician and nutritionist recommend certain dietary modifications like elimination of dairy from the diet, elimination of sugar and processed food from the diet. They might also recommend certain medications for any other associated symptoms. So please, Lara, don't do it alone. Also look for support groups that can help you share experiences with other mothers, and other mothers can share their experiences with you, so that it doesn't feel like as if you are, isolated and you don't have anyone to take this journey with.
All right. Lara, we empathize and we believe that adequate support will help. Getting support, the community can also help you in this. And I've seen a lot of ADHD children turned out very great in life. So please don't lose hope. Give the required support as advised, and I believe the child will make you proud. All right, the next question is from Francis Vester, and he wants to know if it's normal for preschooler to have imaginary friends. How can he interact with his child's imaginary friend, and in what positive way would that be possible?
So, when it comes to children having imaginary friends, it is a normal phase of development, where, of course, not every child will have imaginary friends. Okay, so some children will not have imaginary friends, and there's some kind of cultural variation in terms of whether a child has imaginary friends or not. I find out that here in Africa, our children, I've never said this, that any child said that they had imaginary friends. So, and sometimes if you say that, a child has imaginary friend, the parents will probably say, let's better pray this imaginary friend away, because this can be some of our perceptions, But
Yes.
imaginary friends show that the child is creative, is imaginative, and he has the ability to self-regulate as far as boredom is concerned. Because there is a way in which boredom can set in for children, and an imaginary friend is one way in which they have a companion to speak with, and they are creating their own world and creating their own environment. So please don't discourage it. And you can occasionally ask your child what his imaginary friend thinks about, certain things, in the home, the certain foods that they are being given. But never, please avoid condemning or discouraging them from having those imaginary friends, because number one, it is not a psychiatric or a psychological problem. It is not, they are not hallucinating, so please encourage them, let them have, eventually they outgrow it, so somewhere around between 5 and 6, they tend not to, bother with imaginary friends anymore. So please interact with your imaginary friend the way you would interact if his actual friend was there.
All right, so we should allow the imaginations to run.
To run wild.
Wow. Okay, so to a particular age that, then becomes not allowed, maybe from 10. We don't know if Hobby can speak up now. Okay, so we continue. We have Aisha Navi, and he's from Lagos. He says, why does my child find it very difficult to pass through? And when she does, it's usually very large, hard, dry, and causes bruises to her anus. Oh my.
Sorry, I didn't get the name of the person asking the question.
Aisha Navi Ogene.
Okay, Aisha. Hello, Aisha. The passage of the difficult passage of hard bulky stools is termed constipation. So clearly your child seems to have constipation, and I hope that you have seen a doctor on that account. I don't know how old she said her child. Did she state the age in the question?
No, my child, no age.
Okay. All right, that's fine. Constipation is a real problem. It's very common. And the most likely cause is what we call functional constipation, which means that there is no real disease causing it. However, the most important factor in constipation is the diet. And factors that contribute or predispose a child to developing constipation include taking enough water, not having enough soluble dietary fiber in their diet. And by soluble dietary fiber, I mean fiber from things like fruits, from things like vegetables, from things like sweet potatoes, avocados, but mainly fruits and vegetables. So if you are having a diet that is not rich in fruits and vegetables, they might have constipation. On the flip side, a diet that is too rich in things like bread, things like wheat, that's white flour, especially white flour, fast foods, a diet that has a lot of cow's milk, excessive amounts of cow's milk. So cow's milk in the cereal, cow's milk as a drink, cow's milk in the beverage, they can develop constipation. So what is the best thing to do? Begin to give at least 5 servings of fruits and vegetables in a day. It might be 3 vegetables and 2 fruits. It might be 3 fruits and 2 vegetables. And by serving, a serving of fruit and vegetable is a quantity that can fit into the palm of the hand of that child. So either you are giving broccoli, cabbage, and carrots, and then 1 apple and 1 watermelon. I find that watermelon is very, very helpful as far as relieving constipation is concerned. That being said, please, you must still go and see your doctor because of the bruising that is taking place. The bruising is going to require certain emollients, certain creams that will help to relieve that pain and difficulty. And is also going to might need that she's actually on what we call long-term laxative care. And this means that we might have to give her a drug to continue to use until the stool is consistently soft for about a month before we now stop. And that way, she actually begins to pass stool more easily. Because part of the problem right now is that as she's passing the stool, she's experiencing pain, and then she holds the stool in. And the more she holds the stool in, the harder the stool becomes, and the more fearful she is to have the next poo. So we need her stool to be consistently soft. And so please make sure that you see your pediatrician or your physician to prescribe the possible prescription of a long-term laxative to help the stool become softer and the experience of defecation less traumatic.
Well, thank you, doctor. And actually, I have an experience. My cousin's son was about 9 when she came running that the child can't pass through. And, for up to 10 days, 9 days, anytime the child wants to pass through, at times they will have to go to the hospital. So I was like, dietary, just to support all that you said on the diet, I said, this child needs food. He said, oh, it's not so much food. So I brought the child into the house, for like 2 months. So he was going to school, and it has become an issue of self-esteem because even in school, he couldn't pass. And when he wants to pass, he will just a little in his, little poo in his pints. So he started having self-esteem issues. So I said to her that, the self-esteem issues are coming from the fact that, at hot hours, it can't move around, and maybe when he wants to move, he's afraid to go to the toilet because of the pain, and then there in the class, he ends up passing the little part of it. So I just put the child, on complete oranges. So we buy oranges up to 100, a full basket. I buy it for 3 days. So
buy all the oranges at mile 12.
At mile 12, that's what we did. We juiced it all in. So he kept drinking it. Within 3 weeks, he was able to pass it every other day. and then lots of water, so the bread, the cups, we took them out and ensured that had more fiber in there. And the
Brilliant.
child is fine. It's 3 years that happened. And after 2 months,
Brilliant.
I mean, mother was grateful, everybody was grateful. And I just said that it's the fruits and the diet, So thank you. So it really works. And generally, we just should pay attention to what the children eat. And the earlier we introduce them to healthy diets, the better. Okay, we move. Francis, Obi, are you in?
Yes, I am
Ah,
hoping my
splendid.
works now.
I'm happy to.
Oh my God, fantastic.
We
Yes,
can hear you.
I said you're in. Thank you.
Hi. Hi, doctor. Hi. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Thank you. Okay, so
Speak topic about the tantrums. I think doctor answered it beautifully. But I was trying to speak then, but my audio was just jacked up. But if I may, if it's not too late,
it's okay.
so like doctor mentioned, I think the most important thing about dealing with tantrums is managing your own emotions first, because I don't think anything can be worse than a parent throwing a tantrum because the child is throwing a tantrum, right? So, and again, as parents, we're models. Our children are literally sponges just living around us and basically absorbing everything about us. If you ask your children anything you teach them, they most likely will remember if you model it. So, for instance, if your your nanny or your chef or somebody has done something and your reaction to them doing something you don't like is to yell and to shout, your child's reaction to situations they can't handle would also be to yell, would be to throw tantrums. But as adults, you don't see it as you throwing a tantrum. You think, oh, I'm just having a bad day. Well, your child is having a bad day. They're a human being, they're just a much smaller version. So the way you interpret you having a bad day is literally the grace you should give to a child having a bad day. It must be for as little as a lollipop falling on the floor, or them not being able to tie their shoelace fast enough or quick enough, or just not being able to put on their cardigan. It may seem like a small thing to you, but to that child, that is the biggest issue they have that day. That's like your boss firing you, even that's like you losing your job, or like finding out your parent is ill. That's what that is to that child in that moment. So them throwing themselves on the floor and rolling around is handling the worst thing that can possibly happen to them that day in the worst way that they can. So the most important thing is to give your child grace, and giving your child grace means accepting that they're going through something at the moment, and then be as kind and as gentle in responding to that. Responding to a tantrum, there used to be a time when it used to be, well, go and stand by the wall. Okay, I'm not going to beat you, I'm not going to yell at you, but go and stand at the wall. But now studies have shown that a kinder way to deal with a child's tantrum is not to send them away, because you're also giving them the impression that having those big feelings is wrong. It's not wrong. It's managing them that's the issue. It's how to manage big feelings that's the issue. It's not having them, because everybody should be allowed to have big emotions. So, so studies have shown that now, instead of sending a child away and saying, "Oh my God, wow, if it's not if you're not happy, then I don't want to be around you. If you're not in a good mood, then you're not lovable." That's not the message you want to send to your child. So instead of saying, go to your room and go and stay by the corner if you want to be angry, the best thing to do at that time when a child is having these big emotions is to be there for them, is to extend a hug and say, well, it seems like you're having a hard time, so let's spend some time together in quiet. Let's sit down in the quiet together, or let's go to your room. It seems like you're a bit calmer when you have some quiet time, and then you spend some time. Allow the child to be quiet, to cry, to scream, or whatever, however they would best like to express those emotions. But be there. Let it, even if you're not physically there, let it be obvious that even in your hard moments, I still love you and I still care for you and I'm still here for you to express yourself. And over time, it becomes easier when a child trusts a parent. It's easier to take directions from that parent. So if your child is aware that in those moments, mom is still here for me, she's not angry at me, she's not disappointed at me, eventually you're then able to give coping mechanisms. So when you're angry, Jaden, when you're angry, I think you can you can do some breathing exercises. Or when you're angry, let's breathe, let's blow at the big bad wolf. That will help you manage your emotions better. Or when you're angry, think of things that make you happy. You then start to introduce coping mechanisms. But the first and most important thing is to regulate yourself as an adult, as a parent, to model that screaming and throwing tantrums is not exactly the healthiest way to manage big emotions. These are better ways to manage big emotions. And then eventually, again, like Doctor mentioned, it's not a one-day thing, which is why you can't start from spanking a child, yelling at a child, spanking a child, yelling at a child, and then expecting them to be gentle, expecting them to self-regulate. If for the first 6 years of your child's life, what you've been doing is screaming at them, yelling at them, spanking them, hitting them, chasing them away when they're having big emotions, and then at age 7, you start to try to be gentle for 2 weeks, and you're like, oh, gentle parenting does not work. Of course, gentle parenting would not work. You've been aggressive for 6 years, and then in 2 weeks you're screaming that what is Obi saying on Instagram, gentle parenting doesn't work. It wouldn't work in 2 weeks, right? So the most important thing is to try to model it as early as possible. So you have a 2-year-old who's, forget about 1-year-old. You cannot a 1-year-old is crying, please pet a 1-year-old. Don't try to say, oh, this is a naughty child. If at 1-year-old, no, forget about it. Let's start from 2. Let's be reasonable and start from age 2, age 3, right? You start to model it from that age. You start to be gentle with that child, start to be
Yeah.
expressive with that.
Thank you.
You will see results over time.
Yeah, thank you, Obi. And I learned my biggest self-control lessons from my children, especially when the train tantrums and visitors are around, or you've gone for a function and you just have to control yourself and the child is just throwing tantrums. So it's important that we also learn to control ourselves. So thank you, Obi, for that. And the next question still goes to you. Francis in Waluzi says, it's from Lagos. They say, my child is very quiet. How can I help my child make friends and develop social skills?
Ooh, very interesting. Well, some people will say my child is too playful. Some people will say my child is very quiet. So personally, I have two kids, and they're both very opposite of each other. I have a child who's very friendly, extremely extroverted, and then I have a child who's very introverted, very quiet. But one thing I always say is I think I like to appreciate the difference between the both of them. I'm not trying to make one into what the other one is. So if you have a child that's quiet, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, but developing social skills is also very important. It's important for children, it's important for adults. So a few things you can try. Create scenarios that your child is comfortable with. If you have a child that's quiet, it may not be the best scenario to take them to very busy, very public places to try to make them socialize, right? So an easier way may be to schedule play dates in your house, which is their comfort zone. You find that even people who don't like to socialize are more comfortable in their comfort zone. So if your child's comfort zone is their house, and most likely school is where they spend the most time, right? So their classmates will be the people they're even more comfortable with. Invite 1 or 2 of your child's classmates from class. Extend an invitation to their parents. I would like to host a play date for 2 or 3 of the kids in class today over the weekend, and have them come over to the house. But most importantly, you have to apprise your child of what is about to happen. With children who are quiet, it's not very good to just surprise them. So don't just bring in a bunch of children on the weekends to come and play with them. Over the week, before the weekend, maybe from Monday, a few of your friends will be coming over this weekend, and then start to build excitement around it, right? Have your child suggest the activities that would be done over the weekend. Have them to suggest what snacks you would be sharing. Have them suggest even who they would like to be invited from class, right? Maybe they might even want to invite some children from church instead of class. Keep the option open to them. Which of your friends would you like to invite from church, from mosque, from school, from anywhere, from club? Which of your friends would you like to invite? And what would you like us to do? How long would you like them to stay? Would you like them to stay home? Would you like them to sleep in space? Would you like them to stay outside? Would you like us to go out for a while? Would you like us to have ice cream? Would you like us to have fresh juice? Exactly. have it so in a way they feel they're in control of the situation, even if it's a social gathering, and then build up from there. Birthday parties, going out, creating like club activities on the weekends, sign them up for activities outside of school. Your child may not be quiet, may just find themselves in situations that they're not feeling very social, like school. You find that some children are not social in school, but when you take them to other scenarios, they become more friendly. So you just have to tweak it up a bit.
Thank you. Extracurricular, very important.
Yeah.
Walk the talk. So I walk the talk whenever I visit a friend. I don't, mommy, when did you meet? I say, oh, that's 25-year-old friendship.
Yeah.
We've been
Yeah.
friends for 40 years. So they will be like, oh. So I use the opportunity to coach on networking skills, the need to be kind, to have each other's back. You don't need so many friends, but then the ones you have, be kind to them, be empathic, no betrayers, no backstabbing. So I just also use the opportunity to coach on the need for them to be kind and need for networking skills. Thank you, Obi. The next question is for Doctor, and this is from Samuel Otemuyiwa from Ibadan. He wants to know if there are any specific vitamins for supplements that you can recommend for children and what they should look out for in their children's medications. Doc.
Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
we can hear.
Okay, great. So I was I just popped backstage. So multivitamin supplementation for children is a very interesting topic. Number one, if a child is getting a balanced diet, and I mean balanced protein, fruits, vegetables, fats and oils, and all the good stuff, then technically they don't need multivitamin supplementations. But if you are worried in any way that they might be missing out because they are picky eaters or they might not be getting some nutrients because they don't like fruits or vegetables, then you can offer them multivitamin supplementation after discussing with your pediatrician, because some contain iron and you just don't want to give iron without some sort of guidance or advice. That being said, things to look out for in their medication include the dose. Be sure that you are making sure that you are giving the right dose, because multivitamins are not without side effects. Multivitamins in excess can have side effects. Make sure that, of course, you have confirmed the expiry date and that there's a NAFDAC number on the drug that you're about to give your child. Also, even if you're getting a drug that is across the counter or over the counter, please make sure that you are, as I said, offering the right dose so that the child is not giving less or more than what they should be getting for their age or their weight.
Okay, thank you. So let's not rush into multivitamins. A healthy diet is it. Thank you, doctor. So please, I want the children to start getting ready to win their gifts now, anytime from now. We'll be ready to get into the game. The link is right on our page. So please click the link so you can join us here in the studio and we can. The link is in the story. And remember, it's just for children in Lagos and Abuja. Please join us in the studio. Check the link in the story. All right, doctor. Okay, this is for Obi. I have Onwu Kachidima from Lagos, and he's saying, how can she manage sibling rivalry and promote positive relationships between our children? Sibling rivalry. Obi, just a minute, 1 minute. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Am I audible? Okay,
Yes,
awesome. So with sibling rivalry, it typically starts with the dynamics of the relationship in the home, right? How the parents deal with the children. Other than that, you wouldn't find sibling rivalry. So what typically happens is this is the good child, then this is the difficult child, and then you find that the dynamics of the relationship between the siblings change. The easiest way to manage, avoiding, because the best thing to do is to avoid it rather than managing it. The best way for parents to avoid sibling rivalry is to be very intentional about the dynamics of how you deal with your children. You have some children are, yes, more difficult to handle than others. Some are easy, some are easy to they self-regulate. Some you need to be more intentional about. So it's for us as parents to be very intentional about managing the different dynamics of the relationship with the children so that you're not favoring one over the other. Even when you feel like you have a child that deserves to be rewarded for their good behavior, that a child that feels like, this child aces school and should be given stuff, it's important to manage that relationship so that you're not building resentment from one child to the other, especially with the older children. You find that there's a lot of pressure on typically the first child, the first daughter, and then the other children are just allowed to sort of wing it. So it's important for parents, us as parents, to be very mindful of not developing creating like resentful feeling among the children. And then where you do find that happens, then it's your responsibility to create a bond with the children, create activities where they spend time together, where they spend and spend one-on-one time with your children. So instead of always having, spend time individually with the children, try to get to know your children one-on-one, and then create opportunities for the children to spend time outside of you as their parents.
Thank you very much. I think I just had to that we should avoid comparison. Let's avoid the children can never be same. So we should not compare one to another, and we should allow them to also be who they are. Allow them to exhibit their skills and help to sharpen their strengths, and also, coach them on how to ensure that their weak points are gradually gets eroded, as you pay attention. Just generally pay attention and ensure that we don't show favoritism, as Hobby has said. That's very important. So my next question, Hobby, still goes to you. How important do you think it is for parents to start planning for their children's educational future early on?
Very, very important. You find a lot of parents plan for summer holiday. A lot of Nigerian parents plan for holidays. They plan for trips. They plan to buy new cars. But it's not. You don't find a lot of parents saying, "No, I'm saving towards university." But again, that's one of the biggest expenses you find that middle class income families have to face in a couple of years down the line. I think it's one of the most important things, just as important as any other thing you're saving for the future. We as parents, you definitely want the best for your children. You definitely want them to go to the best schools, but it's not enough to want them to go to the best schools. And sometimes having good grades is not enough to guarantee your children going to the best schools, because again, it comes with financial responsibilities. The most important thing is to, in your head, you want your child to go to a top tier 1 university or a top tier 1 secondary school, high school. Then the best thing is to create a financial plan that makes it feasible for you to attain those goals and to provide your children with those opportunities.
Yeah, thank you. And of course, Leadway has different versions of educational plan that suits your need, educational savings plan that suits your needs at different maturity points, and it can protect the future of the children. So please get to talk to us at the end of the show to see how you can secure your child's educational future. Doctor, as a pediatrician, you often see children at various stages of development. Sometimes these kids falling ill can be overwhelming for their parents. How can a comprehensive health plan like Leadway Health support early intervention and treatment?
When it comes to developmental challenges, it can be very frustrating for parents, for the entire family, actually. And of course, we do know that health insurance is very important in accessing healthcare in Nigeria, because paying out of pocket to see certain types of specialists can be challenging. So, for a child who has a developmental delay, for instance, in speech, we might need him to see a pediatrician, an audiologist, a speech therapist, We might also need them to see the ENT doctor. Now, if a parent had to pay out of pocket to see all these specialists, they can become very financially challenged very quickly. The other thing is that sometimes having to source for these specialists by themselves, looking for them and hunting for them from one hospital to the other, can also be quite an uphill task. But with plans like Leadway Assurance's health plans, that offer a network of health professionals, they can be directed to say, okay, so we have an ENT on our network, we have an audiologist on our network, we have a speech therapist on our network. And so instead of the parents to go about looking for these specialists, that can sometimes be difficult to find, they can be directed by the healthcare insurance plan to the provider. And so it's something that I think, would really go a long way in helping children and parents who have developmental delays and challenges.
Yeah, thank you very much, Doctor. I agree with you. And with the current state, if I may add, with the current state of the economy, with hyperinflation in the country, drugs are very expensive, consultations are very expensive. Doctors are few now, especially the consultants, because of the JAPA syndrome. So access to these doctors and good drugs, it's becoming subtle luxury, which shouldn't be the case. But then when you join us at Leadway Health, we can help you to manage your financial. It's cheaper. You pass the risk on to us, and we can help with the access to the hospitals and the consultants and the drugs. We have the pharmacy dispensing, which is great, even for people who are on standard drugs like ADHD or some chronic, things with children. If that is what is being managed, it will be delivered at your doorstep, such that, and there's a lot around teleconsulting that we do. You don't need to travel the traffic, you don't need to leave your work, you can consult by phone virtually. And, so all of this is what we do at Leadway. So we want you to please talk to us at the end of the show. Pass the risk to us so that we can help you to manage the children who are the future. So please don't forget to click the link in our stories. We're going on board right now. We're going for a short break, and we'll be back and we'll start with a quiz. Thank you.
We all have dreams. Dreams to become someone. Not just anyone. Someone like her. And him. Someone like her too. So when life happens and things start to shake a bit, nothing should get in the way of their dreams. Life happens, but that shouldn't affect their dreams. Secure their future with any of the Leadway education plans today.
Do you need a healthcare plan that listens to you? Be assured, we've got you. For us, as always, this is about impacting lives. And to launch our journey into this exciting ground, we created Leadway Health as the partner you need. Leadway Health adds new dimensions to health insurance as you know it. The services are flexible and mobile. Now, let's talk about the plans. The Leadway Group Health Plan targets macro enterprises, corporates such as local and multinational companies, agencies, and other bodies. Take, for example, Rockwell Company, whose HR representative, Musa, wastes a big part of his work hours sorting billing issues. The Leadway Group Health Plan stops that and will ensure Musa, and by extension, Rockwell Company, will no longer have to worry about mix-ups and long conflict resolutions. Most of our health insurance plans come with baby wellness programs and multi-trip travel insurance with COVID-19 cover. In addition, we offer free employee assistance programs to keep employees out of the hospital. This includes added benefits that cover psychological consultations for insomnia, depression, and other conditions relating to mental wellness. This gesture also extends to free psychological evaluations during recruitment. Our onboarding process is seamless and stress-free for you to opt in, so you can keep track of your health and insurance status.
For more information and questions, call 01-280-1051 or visit our website at www.leadway.com. You can also send us an email at healthcare@leadway.com.
Invest in the peace of mind you deserve today, only with Leadway Health.
This is me, Chooks. My wife, Lola, recently quit her job to follow her dream of becoming a successful baker. She's not quite there yet, but she works hard. My daughter spends most of her time on her vlog. I can't see the fans she's always talking to, but it makes her happy and she gets good grades. My son wants to become a DJ and play music around the world. His sister teases him a lot, but I know she believes in him. They love the good life, and I don't want anything to take that away from them, not even when I'm no longer around. So when my friend Musa told me about the Leadway Lifestyle Protection Plan, I signed up immediately. LLPP is a life insurance plan that helps me create wealth for my family, even if life happens. So, I am rest assured that no matter what happens to me, my family will be okay and they can still achieve all their dreams. Love no be for mouth o. Act on your love and protect the future of the ones you love with the Leadway Lifestyle Protection Plan.
You're welcome back to the show. We'd like to go right into the games right now. So please click on the link that we've shared in our stories so that you can dial in, join us in the studio, and we'll go right into the quiz session, and that gives you opportunity to win the gifts that we have prepared for you. Okay. While we set up the technical works, are there final words from you, our guests? Doc, do you like to share, or can we look at some comments from the live viewers? Okay. Doc, can you help us with some final words for our parents and parents-to-be today?
Okay, so first of all, I think so. This is our commemorating Children's Day. I'd like to say Happy Children's Day to all children and children at heart, including myself. You are loved, you are valued, you are precious. Parents are doing a fantastic job. Don't let anybody pressure you. You are doing a fantastic job. You are the custodians of the future. Please pay attention to health insurance. Very important, because it saves you a whole lot of heartache when emergencies arise, and emergencies can arise. We don't pray for those, but they can happen. So please take advantage of Leadway's insurance packages. I'm sure they are very child friendly. Just pay attention to those subtle signs that your child leaves for you. Listen to them. They know how they are feeling on the inside. You will also learn a lot by listening to them. So happy Children's Day once again.
Thank you. Happy Children's Day to all the children and all the young at heart like myself. Obi, last words.
Hi. Happy Children's Day, like Doc said. What would I prefer to be my last words? I want to tailor it towards education, but I also want to dabble a bit into just like tantrums and gentle parenting. But most importantly, I would say it's the most important thing about parenting is being intentional about it. I don't think, yes, you can wing it, but I think you get as with everything in life, you get the best results when you're intentional. So as we're intentional with our children's feeding, we're intentional with their health, we're intentional with how we relate with them and how they relate with others, we're intentional with their safety. That's the same way we should be intentional with their education. Especially with the global economic turn down. It's not a Nigeria thing. It's easy to say Nigeria is bad, but generally, globally, the economy is horrible. And the way our parents winged it in their 20s and in their 30s, unfortunately, we don't have that grace with the economy that we've met now that we're the parents, you know. It was easy then to start from nowhere and, you know, your kids are going to the best schools in the next 10 years, 15 years. But unfortunately, now people are stuck in the middle class. You know, it was easy then to start from lower class and get up to the middle class and then the upper class, but most of us are finding ourselves in the middle class, you know, at best lower middle class to upper middle class, but it's almost impossible to break into the upper class except by some funny dodgy way, right? It's almost impossible. So if you're being realistic about the economy and the global economy and where we found ourselves now that we're the parents, the most important thing is to plan for your child's future. Our parents probably didn't need to, because then you work hard and you see the fruits of your labor. You put in the work and you get the results. But now it's almost impossible. So the most important gift we can give to our children this Children's Day is to take a plan, is to make a plan. And to make a plan with Leadway is easy. If you've heard the conversations we've had today around their education plans and around their health plans, it's an easy click. If you click the link in the bio, I've personally worked with Leadway for a long time, so I understand that there are a variety of plans that are available, even aside from education plan. There's several other plans that you can look up for your children. So my last words would be, as a gift to your children this Children's Day, more important than pizza and shawarma and ice cream, you can pick a plan for as little as less than 10,000 naira to start to secure your child's future today.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Obi. That's awesome. So it's important. Let's secure our children's future. Our children are our future, and we should secure them. And one of the best way, the cheapest way actually to secure, is to get an insurance plan for them. It's easy, it's modular, scalable, you know, and I mean, any plan, when you approach us, it's not a one size fits all. It's all tailored, you know, it's tailor made to meet your needs. The reward we will be getting is courtesy of Leadway's initiative Pages to Places, which encourages children to read for more books, making a lasting impact on children's education. We will be dropping the question in the chat box. The first person to answer will be picked. Looks like we can't get people to dial into the studio. The first question. Read the first question. What are the two colors of the Nigerian flag? The first person to get it gets the answer.
Can we answer this one, Doc?
You know, a child must be answering it.
We're disqualified.
Now, I would love that you even snap your children's as they're typing it, to snap it and put it on the group for us in the chat box. The second question. The second question. What was the most popular story from Tales by Moonlight? What was the most popular story by Tales by Moonlight? That would be the second question. The first person that gets it. The options are Shango and his wives, how the tortoise became bald, tortoise and the air, tortoise and the birds. We have a winner already. Okay. The second question, what was the name of Ralia in the third question, what was the name of Ralia, the Sugar Girl's dog? Remember the story? Sugar Girl. I know this. Wale, Wara, Wura. We have three options. Wale, Wara, Wura. The first person to answer gets the gift. We wait for answers. We have a winner for that. We need a child to answer the question in the studio. Okay, there's a child in the studio. Smart Ephraim. Great. Good to have you joining us here this evening. How are you, Smart?
How are you? How are you?
How old are you? How old are you?
He can't hear you. The volume is a bit low.
Hello, what's your name?
My name is Ephraim. My teeth is
Ephraim.
broken. My teeth is broken.
How old are you?
Yes.
How old are you?
How old are you?
They're asking you how old are you?
How old are you?
Reply, how old are you?
How old are you?
Oh my god. Ephraim, how old are you?
How old are you?
You don't know how old you are?
I know it.
Are
How old
you
you are?
4 or 5 years
How
old?
old? Yeah.
Oh my god.
Mercy. Ephraim, how old are you?
I'm 12 years old.
Okay. How many times are you expected to brush your teeth in a day? How many times are you expected to brush your teeth in a day?
2.
2 times. Great. Wow. Okay, you want yourself a gift?
That is great.
Mother, please drop your name and phone number for us in our DM. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
can we have another person, darling?
Well done,
All
boy.
right. Yeah, congratulations. The fourth question. What was the name of Ralia, the Sugar Girl's dog? The options are Wale, Wara, Wura. The first person to get it gets the gift. Wale, Wara, Wura. The fifth question, we have a winner for that. The fifth question, the fifth and final question. My husband has gone mad again. Oh, how many wives did he have? In my husband has gone mad again. Oh, how many wives did he have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many wives did he have? Hashtag pages to places. Readers are leaders. Please keep your answers coming in. Please, all our winners should send us a DM with your full name, your phone number, and address. Your full name, your phone number, and address. If you've been ascertained a winner right on this show, please send us your full name, phone number, and address. Drop it in our DM. Okay, so thank you. It's been a great pleasure to be your host this evening. Thank you, our guest speakers. Thank you, Dr. Ayodele Rena. Thank you for the insights. Thank you for the medical advices. Obi, thank you so much for shedding more light on a lot of the social issues as we train our children. Thank you, everyone that has joined us. We appreciate you, and all of our viewers that are sending questions ahead. Thank you for participating, and we hope to see you same time next year for our next edition of Let's Talk. Same time next month for our next edition of Let's Talk Insurance. Thank you, our guest speakers. Thank you, everyone, and a big congratulations to our winners. Thank you, and do have a great evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being here. Thank you, everyone.
Appreciated.
Children's Day.
Happy Children's Day.
My name is Bumi George, aka J Booms. I'm the current CEO of Shredder Gang, a wife and a mom of 2 powerful boys. My favorite part about being a mom is all the love I get to give and receive, and then putting the right values in my children, which in turn gives us a better society. My children are already very vocal about what they want to be when they grow up, seeing that they're only 6 and 4. My first says he wants to be a pilot, just like his dad, and my second says he wants to be a surgeon. And so my goal for them and my dream for them is to get them there the best way possible. Good education is a necessity. My husband and I decided that we were going to start planning from the onset. So we approached Leadway and they gave us 3 plans. We went with the target plan, which is basically setting a certain amount of money as a target. Every month, a certain amount is taken out of our account towards that target. So it instills discipline for us, making sure that we get to that target goal. What I really liked about this particular plan was that there was a protection element to it. So even if life happens, the children are still protected and they still get the target sum for their education. Our children are probably maybe toddler age or early school age, and you know how much you're paying right now. Now imagine in the next 15 to 20 years how much it would be for them. So start planning now. If you really want to plan and stick to it, getting an education plan is the best way to go. You can contact Leadway Assurance either on Instagram or Twitter, or you can visit their website at www.leadway.com/education to get a call back.
Have you always wanted to buy a house, a car, study abroad, or get married? Expensive, right? Your goals can be met with the Leadway Target Plan. Here's how it works. You tell us your target sum, when you want to achieve it, and how often you want to contribute towards achieving it. We then tell you how much you will be contributing periodically. There's more. The Leadway Target Plan also protects your loved ones if you pass away unexpectedly. It pays the target sum to your beneficiary, whether or not you achieve the sum as at the time of your demise. Live your dream today by visiting www.leadway.com/target plan or send us a DM on our social media accounts.
That awesome feeling when you step into your home. Quick question. How much do you value your home and its content? If your answer is what we think it is, then you need to safeguard your home. Whether your home is rented or owned, the Leadway Householder Cover ensures that your household contents are covered against risks such as burglary, theft, flood, fire, and other perils. For as low as 10,000 Naira per year for the basic plan or 20,000 Naira per year for the silver plan, you get up to 10 million Naira in benefits in the event of loss or damage to your house or household content. Visit www.leadway.com/householder-cover to sign up today. You can also send an email to lcs@leadway.com or send us a DM on any of our social media platforms today to find out more.